Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. In this video we're going to be adding vegetation to our world. Just before this video starts, I just want to say that we have a Discord server, so if you have any questions or you just want to come say hi, feel free to join it. There'll be a link in the description. So without further ado, let's get started with this video. So to add vegetation to our world, we're going to be using two things. We're going to be using the Vegetation Editor that is built into Lumberyard, and we're also going to be using the software to get our trees. So there's two ways in how we can get our tree. So we can either use a software called Speed Tree. This is like a software specifically designed for Lumberyard and for creating vegetation for Lumberyard. However, it used to be free. Currently it's not anymore. However, if you have a copy of the license of Speed Tree from when it was free, you can still go ahead and use it. However, if you don't have Speed Tree and you haven't had a license in the past, then you can go ahead and just download a free tree asset from a website called CG Trader. This is what the CG Trader website looks like. So if you just go ahead and like search for a model, you could type tree, and then you can just download. You can select the free option here, or you could pay for one if you wanted to, and then you could just choose one you like. So you potentially go with this one and just click on free download, and you can go ahead and download that. And the same process for applying it in the Vegetation Editor applies. And you'll see later on in this video how we can use the Vegetation Editor to paint trees onto our terrain. So if you have got Speed Tree, then once you open it up, it will look something like this. So you'll get an option to choose one from the template. I'm just going to go ahead and choose just a broadleaf hero. But you can choose to create one from scratch. However, if you choose one of their free templates, once it opens, it will look something like this. Essentially, it's a very realistic tree with all the materials that we need. So we're not going to edit this at all. However, you can if you want to. So we're just going to go ahead and straight export this into Lumberyard. So to do this, we do File, Export to Lumberyard. You then want to navigate to the directory for your project, and then I'm going to put this inside of the RPG, Gem, Assets and Trees folder. I've already got a Broadleaf Hero 1, but I'm going to create a Broadleaf Hero _2 and then go ahead and save. So you want to make sure you have the LODs plus billboard selected, and everything else you can just leave the same. You can then go ahead and click on OK. It will then generate the tree for us. It might take a few minutes depending on the specs of your computer, but just wait for it to finish. There we go. So it has now exported to that folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and we can go ahead and close Speed Tree now. If we navigate to the directory in where the tree was exported from Speed Tree, it will look something similar to this. I have multiple because as you saw before, I had the Broadleaf Hero and the Broadleaf Hero 2. The Broadleaf Hero 2 was the one we just exported then. So essentially it will generate a CGF file, a material file, and all the materials for it. So if we go ahead and open this up in Lumberyard, so if we navigate to that folder through the asset browser, go to Assets, Trees, and then Broadleaf Hero 2 is the one we had. So if we drag this into the terrain, there we go. It has now imported a tree into the terrain, and it honestly looks really, really realistic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be using the Vegetation Editor. So let's just go ahead and delete this tree. Oops, and delete. So to open up the Vegetation Editor, there's multiple ways. The way I like to do it is go Tools, Terrain Tool. A window like this will open up. You then want to go to Vegetation. There we go. So now we can go ahead and add some vegetation. So if we click on the Add button there, and then we can go and locate to where it was saved. So that was Gem, Assets, Trees, and then Broadleaf Hero 2 is the one we used. You then click OK. And then we can start painting it on, and we can go through the settings that we have. So the brush radius, that's the main one. So it's quite self-explanatory what the brush radius is. It is essentially how big the radius will be when we paint it on, and you'll see later what it is. Oh, by the way, if you don't have Speed Tree and you were getting your assets from like CG Trader, for example, the same process applies. You can go Add and then select the asset, and then you can paint it on. And then so at the bottom we've got the preview. But then these are all the options we can have. So that's the size, I'm not going to go through all of these, as some of them are self-explanatory and some of them we don't even need to worry about. However, the main ones we can worry about are, so essentially we can click the Align to Terrain button. This will essentially mean, because we've got hills and bubbles in the ground, it will essentially make it look realistic. We can apply random rotation, and same thing again to make it look realistic. And use terrain color we don't really need. Allow indoor, that's fine. We can leave it as that. Grow on brush, we can click that one. And let's just try that for now. So if we go paint objects, and this is the radius I was talking about. So let's say we were to increase it, you'll see much bigger radius and a much smaller radius. And so let's just try what happens. If I click place, you'll see, if I zoom out, we've got multiple trees put out there. And let's say I was to use the radius tool like that, you can see what's happening. It's painting trees onto the terrain. This is a much easier way of placing trees down, and then you can do it. So as you can see here, once we do it over the mountains, it's actually aligning that to the terrain. So if I just do Control Z to stop all that. And let's say, let's increase the size. And then that's essentially the size of the tree. As you can see here, bigger size, bigger tree. And then you can go ahead and choose these settings to suit what you want. Okay, so if we scroll down here, you will see we have an option called density. This is how close the trees will be together. So if we increase this and we paint down, you'll see there's nothing being painted down. That's because the meter is too high. So let's say we bring it down to 5 and paint this. Yeah, there we go. There's less denser trees. And let's say we decrease the size, and then density we also decrease. Oh, let's just get rid of that. Okay, yeah, so as I was saying, if we decrease the size and density is 5. If we paint, there will be less trees together. So if we increase the density, yeah, there's less trees, as you can see. Yeah, as you saw, there are less trees compared to like the 5 at the beginning. So you can go ahead and mess around with those settings to get how many trees you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place some of these trees on our terrain. So if I zoom out, I don't want the size to be that big. So I'm going to leave it as that, and then density I'm going to leave it as, I'm going to go with 10. And let's just see how it looks. Yeah, what does this look like? Actually, that's not that bad. It just looks a bit weird because we're zoomed out quite far. But if I was just to go ahead and place a few more like that, and like that, I'm just roughly painting on so we can get a rough idea of what it looks like that. And yeah, that's good enough for now. So let's go into the player's perspective and see what it looks like from the player's position. So if we go Control G to enter game mode and we go up there, wow, we can see that there's a lot of trees. But the good thing is it's actually aligned into the ground, as in it's the roots and the trunk have all positioned nicely into the ground, so it looks realistic. And honestly, it looks quite good. It's just a lot of trees. So we can just go ahead and play around with like the density and all of that. So let's just increase the density a bit more. And let's increase that. 15. And let's place some there. Yes, there we go. That's a lot better. And let's just see what that looks like. There we go. That looks a lot better. There's fewer trees. So essentially, yeah, that is how the terrain editor and applying vegetation works to the terrain map. So essentially, this is what we can do, and we can go ahead and place all of these around here like this, so we can get a nice tree-ish look. That's a lot of trees, but you get the idea of what we can do with this. So I'm just going to go ahead and place some trees to make it look a bit more nicer. So I'm just going to go around the edges and just place a few like there. But I'll have a go off camera to make it look even nicer, and then I'll give you an update in the next video. But for now, that's roughly of what it's going to look like. So that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider leaving a like and potentially subscribing if you'd like to. And yeah, and just another reminder, we've got a Discord server, so you can go ahead and join that if you've got any questions or you just want to have a nice chat with us. Please do consider following us on Twitter. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.